Yeah, okay, and we're live. All right, so first I want to say, how do you feel about that lesson that I came and observed?
Well, both of them, they were doing things. There's new things I'm encountering. To be honest, this year, kids are actually working and finishing things and turning them in. I do not want to say it's because I'm being very prudent, that's not the word I want, but very deliberate about you're late, you don't get your points. You not get your points for just turning in work 3 days late. You're getting your points today because it's due today, tomorrow it's 10, 10, 10 less. I really think it's a change in culture too. I have completely different kids, completely different behaving kids. And so I have never planned for kids to be done on time.
Yeah.
So to be honestly, 100% honest.
Because I want to say the culture in there is not, it's not bad. The kids are actually quiet. They're respectful. They're doing everything that you asked them to do. In fact, they had no work and was not disrespectful. they were just sitting there quietly.
Yeah.
And
I'm so sorry, I just had a quick question for you actually. Those two students that you were in the bathroom, were they just kind of in there kicking it when you
No,
walked
they
in
went to
there?
the bathroom.
It was in the bathroom? Okay.
Yeah.
That was the dude in Helena, so that's one of me.
No
But
problem.
now, once they went in the stall, I can't guarantee they peed.
Okay.
But they did.
Awesome. I appreciate you.
No problem.
Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
It's okay.
I knew when I walked in there,
So-
somebody's gonna walk in behind me.
Oh, yeah.
But
So
I mean,
I had- 'cause I
so
had
I've
asked
already
a couple.
remedied that.
Yeah, because I asked him, I said, what are you supposed to be doing? He said, nothing. I asked him
No.
another one, I said, what you supposed to be doing? I don't know. I said, what you supposed to be doing? Another kid said, we already finished. I'm just going to sit here and wait. You know what I
Okay.
said? And so I sat in there from 8:44 to 8:53.
Okay.
And
And most
literally
kids said no. That would have been
nothing,
second
and we're
hour.
doing nothing, yes.
Okay, that's second hour. They should have been working on. It'd be interesting to know.
They were finished, actually,
Okay.
most of them had finished their flip thing that you had been working on. So they had already finished it, and
Okay.
it was like they had nothing else to do.
Okay.
And so I was wondering, what do you think could have possibly made the lesson better? So you said beforehand you used to prepare to take it slow, right? Because
I
then
need
you
to
finally
overplan
started
it.
talking. Yeah, you finally started talking. It was 8:54. You start walking around checking, and you said, "What would be a great place to put ads for Georgia?" That was the first time like you actually got up and spoke. Because for about literally
Yeah.
9 minutes,
Yeah.
kids were doing nothing.
Yeah. I have, first of all, I need to overplan. I know this. I'm not good at this, but I know this. So I'm trying to make sure I overplan. Some days I overplan so much that I have 10 minutes worth of stuff left, and they're leaving, the bells ring, and I've got stuff 10 minutes more to talk about. Some days I'm like, let's pull out the speak out cards because we've got 10 minutes. But I have also I talked to Miss Williams next door and just asked her, do you have work and stuff for them to do, like when they're done with work? And she said she lets them work on other classes, or she has, I can't remember the word she used, like extended extra special.
Ms. Williams is running a tight ship over there.
She's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, she's running a tight ship over there.
Amazing. I've never been next door to teachers that were like that.
Yeah,
Because I was downstairs in what's Mr. Campbell's, 115.
he's running a tight one too. It looked like they're doing nothing when you're on the phone, but then you go in there, you look at their progress, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because I know that like ROTC would run a tight ship, but they're downstairs. I never saw them. I know that Miss Middleton, I don't want to narc on her. I know she struggles with the same things I struggle. It's only my 4th year teaching. It's only her 3rd year teaching.
Okay.
Mr. Tebby, I don't know about him,
Well,
but he was across the hall.
well-
So I've never been by anybody
Well,
who
so
has asked stuff.
for me, instead let's focus on everybody else. I'm gonna focus on you right now. And today, what I want to dive into is essential content and developing an effective lesson plan.
Okay.
Okay, so tell me, what are the keys to having a successful lesson plan? When you're thinking about lesson planning, what are the basic?
Knowing what I want them to learn.
Okay. So that's your objective.
Yeah.
Okay.
And filling the time appropriately each day, and providing a lesson that builds upon each day. So not every day is independent. There are some independent days, but it builds on. Yesterday you learned, today you learned.
Sounds good. So today, the things I want to talk about, if you want to write this down.
Okay.
First, want to make sure that you have an instructional activity that lasts from bell to bell. Okay. I'm going to show you a sample lesson plan so that and I'm going to share that with you so that you can model it.
I've already made a copy of Mr. S's,
Okay.
and that's what I'm trying to model from.
No problem. And then we're going to have an exit ticket. Okay.
Alright.
So I want an exit ticket at least every Friday. Every Friday, your kids should have at least a 5 to 10 question multiple choice exit ticket.
Okay, so it's, I have a question about exit tickets, because I've never heard it phrased like that. And then last week when you were talking to PD, you're talking about check for understanding. That's what I've always heard them as. So.
There are two different things. Check for understandings happen during independent practice.
Okay.
So that's when you're stopping and seeing, first you probably might have independent conferences with kids just to check in and make sure they get it. Or you might bring the whole class back and check to see if they're getting this concept. And if they are, then you release them. So you catch them all, check to see if they're getting what you want them to get. So you might check on a problem or two or a concept or two. And then if they're good to go, release them back into independent practice or in the group work. The exit ticket measures if they've actually mastered the objective that you were actually
So it's
teaching.
almost like, well, it's an assessment.
Yeah,
Is it almost like an?
it's exactly what it is.
Is it a mini?
It's a mini assessment.
Okay,
That it's basically, if you have a unit test, you break down your unit test and it's like, okay, what do I need them to learn that before they get ready for this unit test?
so I could make my exit ticket.
Excuse my interruption.
Mhm.
Room 301, Dr. Powell?
She's right next door.
That's, okay. I was thinking that was 302.
No,
Thank
Good
you.
in here.
thank you.
He ran in my room last year and just stole my keys and ran. So you can take like your test at the end
So you
and
take
give
your-
them a portion of the test.
If you wanted to, right, you might reword the questions
Yeah,
just
maybe
a little
like
bit.
different math
Right, and
problems,
so you
but-
might say, this week, I'm gonna teach, these are the 5 questions that if they can answer these multiple choice questions by the end of the week, that look like a real marketing exam from a marketing class, from marketing 101 in college. If they can answer these 5, I did my job. So
Okay.
like you were teaching your 4 Ps, if I'm not mistaken. And so your 4 Ps were promotion, pricing, product, and place, right? So you're basically like, if I ask a question about each one of them, and they get the definition of marketing, and they can tell me where they accurately have seen a marketing ad that if you might get them 4 different ads and say which one of these most effectively shows the 4 Ps: promotion, pricing, product, and place.
Okay.
So you might have 2 questions about that. You might have one that's strictly about promotion, one about
And you
pricing.
said 10 questions?
Yeah, 5 to 10 questions.
Okay.
Because your objective was you wanted them to learn the 4 Ps of the marketing mix. Okay, and so an effective lesson plan. So I want to show you one, and I'm gonna send this one to you too. So let's look at this real quick. First, you notice there's gonna be one essential question. Okay, that essential question is what your unit is all about.
However, what if I'm perhaps covering 2 things in a week, like the 4 Ps and target market?
So the unit question is not a weekly thing.
Okay.
Those are your
Okay,
as
so-
daily as objective.
Okay,
So your unit might be a 4-week thing. At the
so
end,
it might be what are the essential functions of marketing?
boom, that's your
Okay.
unit, right?
Okay,
And so you might say, okay, the 4 Ps is one essential function. What's another essential function? Or are the 4 Ps the essential? function?
no, I mean, for that day, they might be.
Not so. Again, your objective. Okay, this is how it looks. So. I got a unit. Okay. At the end of the unit, my students are going to do either this multiple choice test, this paper, or this project to show me they've mastered this material.
Okay.
Okay. So, you got week 1. I need to teach these daily objectives. I'm gonna teach them this thing today, this thing Tuesday, this thing Wednesday, this thing Thursday, and by Friday, if I'm gonna test them, and if I did my job, that means a little bit of this, they gonna have it mastered. Week 2, I do that again, and I test them on Friday. They gonna have a little bit more mastered.
So the unit thing, while I'm covering the basics or the essential functions of basics of marketing, could be 2 months. And then I could go into depth, because my plan is, after the basics, I'm gonna go into depth and talk more about price specifically for a while.
So you wanna
And
have
then-
you wanna have a unit project. You need to start with what do I want their unit project to be?
Okay,
Okay, so that's the first thing you have to do. You have to start with it. I can't do it right now. You have to meet with me in a second. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll tell her you're
No
not
problem.
available.
Thank you.
It was actually Dr. Powell setting up.
No problem. Thank you. So, what you want to have is a unit project. What is this end of the unit project? So, do you want them to have an essay? If it's so, then you need to have a rubric. This is how you guys are going to be graded. This is what I'm going to want in this essay. And throughout these next 4 weeks, everything we're going to do is going to prepare you for your
that
essay.
Unit.
For your
project.
unit project,
Okay.
exactly. And every day, I'm gonna give you some small assignments that's gonna prepare you for this little either test, or it might be a short answer question with textual evidence that's gonna prepare you for this either project, essay, or test that you're gonna take.
And that project is for the unit.
It's for the
It's
unit.
not necessarily a semester or a quarter or a
No,
quarter.
because
or
your
a
unit
year.
could be 3 weeks, your unit could be 6 weeks. It's about how long it takes you. So if your whole semester is broken down into 4 units, right?
Yeah,
Then you set your own calendar for your units.
okay,
My objectives is, by the end of the day, if you learn this small thing, we're good. You learn this thing tomorrow, you're good. Let's put everything together for this week. Here's a small little test to see if you learned it. Now we're gonna trade and grade this test. Now we're gonna talk about the ones that you got wrong and got confused about, and that's that way you're evaluating if they learned it.
okay, I
So-
get it, yeah.
So when I'm looking at your lesson plan, this right here is gonna be your unit project.
Okay,
Okay, so you're already good with all this stuff. So these learning target objectives, I should see 5 of these because you should have one for each day.
oh, so, okay, so 5 of them.
You should have one
Well-
for each day.
Okay, but if it takes 2 days to cover something,
Then that's okay. You can use the same one for 2 days.
Okay.
So you might say day 1 and 2
Okay,
objectives, day
okay.
3 objective, day 4
Okay.
objective. So then the basic structure of your lesson, you're due now. This is just something to get you thinking about what we're about to start.
Mhm.
All right? Most kids, you just do this participation. Did you do it? You don't even need to
Yeah.
grade that for accuracy. This is
I
just
know.
completion.
yeah,
So then it's the I do. All right, let me show you what I want you to do. Here's I do. We do. Let's do it together so you can mess up and I can tell you where you're messing up with. Because when I do it, I want to explain my thinking. I want to show you how I do it. And I should take you no more than 5 to 10 minutes to do the I do.
okay. So I do could be price, or one of the P's is price. Price means how much they're charging for it, that the customer feels it's a good price, blah, 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 blah. An example is you wouldn't pay $15 for a Big Mac.
Exactly. So
So now let's together work on place.
boom. Or let me show you an ad. Let's examine how the 4 P's are used in this ad.
Okay.
I'm going to do one ad first and show you my thinking.
Mhm.
We're going to do another ad together, or 2 ads together,
And then-
and you're going to do it with me. Now, I'm going to give you guys 5 to 6 ads to do on your own, and you need to use the text that I gave you guys, so you should probably have read a text or something, and you're going to use textual evidence to support how do you know this is promotion? Is this pricing fair, right? Is this, what else is the other 2 P's? So is the pricing?
Product and
Product.
promotion.
Does this pricing relate to this product well based on the competition that's out there? Promotion. How many different ways have they advertised this and marketed this to the consumers?
Okay,
So does that make sense?
yeah,
So it's
so,
a I do, we do, then you do is the independent practice. The you do should take about 20 minutes.
okay,
So
So
look,
I
if you look
should
right here,
not
you see how I say
spend-
10 minutes? Timestamp. 20 minutes,
Okay.
timestamp. 10 minutes. I want to know how long your I do, we do, you do is.
so it should not be me giving information for an hour. today.
Absolutely not. Never.
Okay.
It should be 10 minutes of the I do.
Okay,
Let's do 10 minutes of the we do together.
okay,
20 to 25 minutes of the you do.
okay,
Okay? And then at the end of class, I'm going to say, okay, I might just walk around with my laptop, with my grade book out, already ready, and seeing how far you got today. 30s, 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 30s. I'm just giving out completion grades.
Okay.
Good
Okay.
job. And then if you don't have, let me explain to you why. Because you should have been getting work done. Because kids care about the right now. Okay, by the end of the week, when I give you guys this little exit ticket, that's the one for accuracy. But for right now, are you trying? Are you messing up? Are you learning? That's all I care about during the week.
okay,
Make sense? So you got a participation grade, are you trying? A completion grade, are you doing the work that I asked you? Then a mastery grade, the exit ticket.
okay,
So let's go back from scratch right now. So right now, the biggest things I want to make sure I'm seeing inside of your lesson plans. I want you to make sure you have a targeted instructional activity every day. That's about 25 minutes long, 20 to 25 minutes.
okay.
An exit ticket at the end of the week,
Just a second, I'll write this down.
no problem.
A targeted instructional
Activity, so that means my activities prepare them for the exit ticket.
Okay,
They're not just random activities I pick. These activities relate to my unit, and they're gonna prepare them for this exit ticket,
okay,
okay? Cool. And so I'm gonna share the model. So based on, I wanna ask you a question. looking at mines and then looking at what you sent me, what is the biggest difference between the timestamps, when you see the unit question, objectives, and then here's this other part right here. So, students in tier 2, basically your tier interventions are students who are absent. What you gonna do when they're absent or they're late?
Okay.
Okay, versus, and then your other ones, the students who need to be challenged or finish early. What do I do for them?
Okay.
You need to plan for that in advance. That's what this section is for.
So how do I plan for, just a second. What,
They have laptops. If you put everything in Google Classroom, you can plan for the kids that are absent.
okay,
Okay? Also, you allow group work so that they can catch up with students in their group.
okay,
Students who are finishing early, you should already have the next activities for next week and they're ready. So they can start on their next week activities. And then basically you can either help another student or start on the next activities. Because at the end of the day, the goal is for you to master these concepts and skills to prepare for your unit project.
okay,
It's okay if they get to the unit project early. Because at the end of the day, I'm just gonna keep giving you feedback till it's perfect. We're not gonna be happy with an 85 on your unit
Okay.
project.
okay.
So you can start on it early, but I'm just keep making you redo it. But you're never gonna be so far ahead of everyone because you're gonna have these planned activities that last.
Okay.
Okay? So, biggest difference. So right now, what's the biggest difference between my lesson plans and how I'm thinking it and the ones you've been submitting?
Well, I don't have unit plans to start with. I don't have time things, and I have either mostly I do.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have, because I have days when I'm doing a whole hour,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have enough stuff for them to do.
Okay.
And that, in the middle of there is the we do together.
Okay. Absolutely. So, what would be your action step based on everything that we said? What do you think your action step would be when you left this meeting? What's like the number one thing you should be focusing on?
Well,
If you flip back over is when you first
I
started
mean,
writing.
exit tickets. I mean, that's
Exit tickets and what?
And-
What's the
and
most important part? Exit
targeted
tickets.
instructional activities daily. And then, well, and I need to change my unit to the unit plan.
So you need some effective lesson plans that have those targeted instructional activities and exit tickets.
Okay,
So effective lesson planning is the thing I'm focused on.
okay,
Because if you plan them out correctly, you will have instructional activities in the exit ticket in there. So the
Okay.
lesson planning, effectively lesson planning to prepare for these things is your number one objective
Okay.
right now, okay?
okay,
So that's your action step. Can you write that down?
okay.
So your action step is having an effective lesson plan.
Okay,
And within that lesson plan,
has those other
you
things.
have your instructional activity, that's the I do, we do, you do. It has the exit ticket.
Mhm.
And the students are doing most of the work. What's the longest you should be talking in the classroom?
5 to 10 minutes.
5 to 10 minutes by yourself, and then if you're doing the we do, another 10
10
minutes. There
Okay.
you go. And then the rest of them, it should be student work, and you just circulate and check it.
Okay.
All right.
I have a question.
I got an
On my
answer, I hope.
I don't know if you do, because I don't even know everything about it yet. My youth
Okay.
entrepreneur stuff.
Uh-huh.
The way it's done, of course, they don't tell you what to grade. So I'm just grading on, like when they completed that entrepreneurship assignment they were doing yesterday, or they're getting ready to do a decade of entrepreneurship, I give grades on that.
Mhm.
How do I work in, it's just completely different. It is set for me. It's completely different than me coming up with new activities. We do activities, but it's not really an I do, we do, you do.
I think the challenge, here's the thing, whenever you're getting a scripted curriculum, right,
Mhm.
you can still format it like that. You have to be able to present that information
Mhm.
to children.
Mhm.
So the do now, if let's say they wanted you to show this video, here's the activity, right? The do now might be the video, right? They might then have to respond to it. Then the I do is gonna be explaining your thinking about the do now and then what the activity should look like. And you have done a little bit of the activity yourself. I am showing you how I thought about it when I completed.
Well, like
We're
today,
gonna do a little bit of that activity together. You're gonna finish the rest of the activity.
so like today, they had an auction,
Mhm.
because they get to use their YE bucks with me. Then they watched a video about a shopping cart, a company that is an innovative company about a shopping cart. Their project, or thing they're supposed to do tomorrow, they get 1 hour, one class hour with a group to redesign an ironing board.
Mm.
Then on Friday, and they get 1 hour, as in, bell rings, I take your work. You're
Mhm.
done. If you have a piece of paper, that's what you have.
It's a bell-to-bell assignment.
So, Friday, they're supposed to provide an elevator pitch as to why that's the best design for their, ironing board. So, but that, I don't, maybe I just, have to be flexible.
They're
That's
actually
not gonna-
doing everything I just said.
Okay, but they're just not.
They're
doing
giving
it.
you an assessment on Friday.
Okay.
It's a form of a project.
Mhm.
You're gonna do it. You need to give the kids a rubric, so they need to know, this is how you're gonna be graded. These are the things I wanna hear inside of your elevator pitch.
Okay.
These are what a good elevator pitch will have in them. If you're missing these things, this is what I'm gonna take off points. That's the same thing as an exit
Mhm.
ticket.
Okay,
I know what I'm gonna be assessed on.
okay,
Instructional activities that build to that. Every day we're gonna practice on something so that you can be ready for your elevator pitch.
okay,
Daily objectives. They're actually doing everything we just
okay.
described.
They're just doing it maybe a little bit different.
They're just it's using
Okay.
different terminology, but the same. That's just good pedagogy.
Okay.
They're
'Cause
actually
this-
doing exactly
Because the
what we're
one thing,
asking.
yeah, this has been tested for a long time, and
Mhm.
like, schools all over the nation use this stuff, and other companies too. But, like in their final unit project for this one is they have to do market day in November. So, and they don't actually say, today we're gonna learn about win-win focus. They just incorporate it, and then you do, at the end, you analyze.
Well, the good thing is, my job is to make you better. It's not to evaluate you to hurt you. If by the end of this you understand exactly how they're structuring those lessons, this is gonna make you super strong.
Okay,
As of right now, the good thing is you don't have behavior problems.
that's true.
That's the number one problem. Now that we're past the behavior, which is an excellent thing, now let's just work on this thing here. We just focus on these little things right here. You're gonna be way, way strong. And if you started off, if he did a walkthrough and you start off low and you get way high at the
Yeah,
end,
it looks like I really
a rock star, and you look like you take feedback, you look great.
Okay.
And so that's the goal at the end of the day. We
Okay.
wanna keep you.
Okay.
We're not trying, we wanna keep everybody that's here. I just want you to get
Okay.
way better. So
Okay.
right now, you're good,
Okay.
okay?
Good.
No problem. All right,
I
thank
had
you
one
so
more
much.
question, but I
Come on,
forgot.
let's do it.
What was it? Oh my God, this is brain damage for you. Oh my gosh, what was it? If you wanna come Friday for the elevator pitches, you can.
I would love to.
It's first and fourth.
First and fourth.
And they get YE money, so I'm gonna give you the YE money.
Mhm.
Start handing it out. They
Okay.
got an auction today. They don't know about bid low. They started begging chips, bag of chips, $100.
Well, thank you for
I
the
don't have money
offer.
for that.
Oh.
Tell your classmates not to